Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the May 16th, 2023 meeting of the Board of Commissioners of WMGLD, and it's 6:45, which is the meeting time for tonight's meeting, the start time. So we are I will call the meeting to order, and just to note that this meeting is being recorded. So we're going to start with opening remarks. I have two. One, I just wanted to congratulate Commissioner Warshall on his reelection to our board. Welcome back for another 3 years.
Thank you.
You're here.
Same. Check. Congrats.
And then the other thing is just, there's actually the meme annual meeting is coming up this week. It's Thursday and Friday. So just a reminder, if anyone's interested in joining that meeting, to sign up. Any other commissioner reports?
Commissioner Clay and I attended the MWEC annual conference on May 3rd and 4th. The conference covered many different topics, areas including legislative updates, market trends and issues, updates on technology, physical and cyber security, decarbonization pathways for MLPs, and just kind of ongoing projects. I'd also like to commend both Pete and Dave, especially Dave, for the great presentation that they gave at the conference on our energy park, highlighting its multi-purposes and innovation. It sparked quite a bit of really good questions, conversations, and just kind of showed the innovation and different thinking. So thank you for presenting that at the conference.
Thanks.
Agreed. Any other commissioner reports? I have one more quickly that I forgot about. I'm sorry. Earlier this week, we had the first statewide commissioner meeting on rates. Topic was rate setting in the 21st century. I have the video, so I will circulate that to all the commissioners so you can see it if you want. And there's a survey that is being sent out, I believe, to all of you to just see, even if you didn't attend, what you think about this concept moving forward and get your input. So if you see that, that's what it is. Moving on to town council liaison comments. I do not see our liaison with us tonight. Moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments this evening?
Well, all I want to say is that I'm interested to hear what you're going to
Can
say.
you state your name and your address, please?
Yes, yes. Karen Johnson from Malden.
Okay.
And I'm here just to, I want to hear what you have to say about the energy park. I don't know if there'll be a chance for questions or public comment after that, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so moving into the regular agenda. And I believe we have a matter not reasonably anticipated by
Right.
chair.
We finished the DP report on Friday, so we included it, and it'd be good to wrap it up before Commissioner Corsi leaves, since it's the report for 2022 when he was a commissioner with us. So it'd be nice to have it be his last official act.
Okay, so do I need a motion to take this out of order?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the DPU report, so this is the draft and we haven't signed it yet?
Correct.
Is Commissioner Corsi present at the meeting?
Yes,
I am.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think I need a motion to take this out of order in order to even discuss the draft and potentially take a vote on it. So can I see if anybody has that motion or can offer that motion?
I'll make the motion to move the DPU report out of order and discuss it right now.
I'll second.
Thank you. Commissioner Corsi?
Aye.
Commissioner Prifty?
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher?
Aye.
Commissioner Warshall?
Aye.
And Commissioner Calais, aye. So moved. We are now discussing the end of year municipal gas and lighting plant, the annual report. Are there questions or comments, topic of discussion on this?
Give you a once over on it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the DP report is put together annually for every both uni in the state and IOU in the state needs to put this report together. And it consists of both financial information and non-financial information, statistical information such as kilowatt hours sold, cubic feet of gas sold, number of meters connected to the system for both gas and electric. And again, also it has an income statement and a balance sheet. It has detailed plant information is listed. Fixed asset information is listed as well. In the normal audit that the board receives that is done, the financial statement audit, a lot of the plant information is in summary format. So this gives a more detailed granular level of detail on plant as well. There's debt is discussed in here as well. So again, the annual financial audit is prepared on a June 30 fiscal year basis. This is a calendar year basis report. And it's filed annually with the Department of Public Utilities. They have a central repository. It's called the file room. They have, you can, if anybody's interested, they can go and look in that file room electronically and pull up both Wakefield and any other, municipal light departments annual DPU report for.
Now, this is on our website now, dating back
This is on the website.
10 years now, I think.
Yeah, something.
Might even have 12 or 13 years.
But again, it's public information and 50 odd pages of.
Like,
Yes.
So that's the effort that goes into that. So.
Any questions or comments?
And so we're asking tonight, I'm asking tonight is if we can vote on it, execute it, sign off on it, and then at that point, I will file it with the state.
any questions or comments or concerns?
I have none.
Okay, not hearing any. Can I get a motion to approve the Department of Public Utility annual report of the Wakefield Municipal Gas and Light Plant for the Department of Public Utilities for the year ending December 31st, 2022?
So moved.
Okay, I think that's the first and the second.
Second.
Commissioner Corsi,
Aye.
Commissioner Prifty,
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warshall,
Aye.
and Commissioner Calais, aye. Unanimously approved.
So Jack, I can leave the signature pages at the front desk if you're around at all to swing by and put the final signatures on it. You're welcome to swing by.
Yeah, I won't be back in Wakefield until next week.
That's all right. Yeah. And I did look, we have 12 years worth on our website, but you can go back further with the DPU itself if you need to.
I have more if anybody wants, if anybody's interested.
Okay, and then another matter of business we probably have to take care of is approval of the minutes.
Yeah.
So moving to the secretary's report and approval of the April 2023 minutes. Are there additional comments?
I have additional ones that I unfortunately did not get into the record before the publication. Let's see here. There's not paging.
So Jen did have comments, so I don't know if you compared yours to hers, making sure that there was no overlap.
Probably not, but I can confirm as we go.
Where is this? What page is this? Just want to get the Jack and Paul.
Jack, are you able to hear us well?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
All right, on page 5, The second to last paragraph with the paragraph section begins with both Commissioners Clay and Walshaw. Going all the way down to the last section that starts with if where after, let's see here, it says Steve then informed the customer that filed the complaint that a light would not be installed. It was after this that the customer contacted two Wakefield Municipal Gas and Light Commissioners with her complaint. This was Dave Polson speaking. Just for clarification, adding in if the customer requesting the light wants to pursue this, then the next step might be for them to go to town council. And I have these written up like it's nice to you. And then skipping down to where I made the comments, Commissioner Betcher commented that Wakefield Municipal Gas and Light has done our due diligence and this adding in, and Steve Mayo is satisfied with not putting a light there and absence of any other information details, he considers this matter closed. Just to kind of
Those,
clarify that, this, go ahead.
sorry, yeah, I was just, and those were what, his direct words to you?
No, those were my words to around the discussion we were having with Dave. I went and watched the video, and it's just to kind of clarify that essence of discussion that we were having at that time.
Yeah, but so you're saying you want to change the sentence. So right now it only says one thing. It says you commented that we've done our due diligence. And you want to add that you're also commenting that Steve Mayo is satisfied.
Based on Dave's comment earlier where Dave made the comments above, Steve Mayo was informed of all of this and was satisfied. So I had made the comment in the meeting saying that if Steve Mayo was satisfied with not putting light there and absent of any other information, that he considers this matter closed. So I was commenting on Dave's comment of Steve.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Because that was what, I went and rewatched everything, and that was, I was making a comment based on what Dave had informed us at the meeting, that Steve Mayo was satisfied.
Yeah, I would only caution that we should only put in the words, with regard to Steve Mayo, only put in the words that Dave actually stated pretty much verbatim, because Steve Mayo told me something different. He says that he wants to see the light there. He said, he told me that he's in favor of the light, but he's leaving it up to us.
Yeah, but I'm just correcting those are my comments that I made during the meeting. Based on what Dave had said during the meeting that Steve was satisfied. So those are the minutes and my comment being made.
That's fine. You read one more time what your comment is. After the WMGLD has done our due diligence.
And Steve Mayo is satisfied with not putting a light there and absent of any
That's good, thank
other.
you.
Sorry,
What was on their iPhone? Could you please mute?
Sorry, Don, can you say that?
Hold on one second. There we go.
Yeah.
Done our due diligence, and Steve Mayo is satisfied with not putting a light there and absence of any other information details. He considers this matter closed. So he in this I consider this matter closed based on, what Steve had said and, absent of other details and information that has not been provided to us.
So he said all that?
No, I said all that. This is this is my comment.
Sorry, let me please ask. So what I'm saying is, let's just leave it at what he actually said, which was what you told me. What he said was that he and Steve was satisfied, period. But then you added a whole bunch, and that's what I don't want added if he didn't actually say it. If
No,
those
I
are
did
just
say
your-
it. I did say it. So if you go back and watch the minute, I did say, like, my comment is if Steve Mayo is satisfied with not putting a light there and absence of any other information in detail, I consider this matter closed. I said that, I said, so the he in that statement is me.
Oh, the he is you. Okay. So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
comment. Okay.
Yes,
so
this
after
is my
the-
comment.
Yeah.
So
So after
my
the-
comment is based on,
I heard you.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
after due diligence, we don't put a comma because it's your continued comment.
yeah,
Because if you put comma and then you say Steve Mayo, then it sounds like it's what he's saying, but it's got to be limited to what you're saying.
correct.
Okay, I thought you were paraphrasing something Steve had said, which
No,
is
no,
what my
this is,
concern was.
no, I'm putting in the record my comment.
Reaffirming what Dave had mentioned.
Right.
Correct. So I'm reaffirming what Dave has mentioned, and I consider the matter closed because there's no, there's no other information, no other details, no other reason why we would take action. That was,
Could you,
I can send that to you. Well, did it ever?
I gave up taking notes about a 4 or 5 minutes.
Did it ever come to you?
Huh?
When it bounced back, did it ever make it through?
No.
Okay. I'll read that.
My email has been a nightmare for the past 3 days. So
No way.
I have deleted inboxes, copying themselves on top of inboxes. At one point, I had somewhere in the neighborhood of 300,000 emails.
I don't want to know.
Jeff didn't want to know either. As we deleted stuff, it kept coming back and it's.
So should I send it to Mark?
Actually, that would be good.
Along with everything else forever and ever.
No, just in case. Just in case you could send it to Mark. We think we have it fixed, but
All right.
hasn't been good.
Okay.
Was there anything else, Tom, or?
No, that was the only change.
Cool.
Okay, any others from any other, okay, board members? Can I hear a motion to approve the April 5th meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the April 5th minute with the amended changes as discussed.
Okay, can I
I'll
get a second?
second.
Thank you. Commissioner Corsi,
Aye.
Commissioner Prifty,
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warshall,
Aye.
and Commissioner Calais. Aye, meeting minutes approved. And now on, I think Commissioner Corsi has an announcement.
I do. As you know, we are relocating to Reading, Mass. And it requires me to leave the board. I'm here to tell you all that I looked in Wakefield. We couldn't find anything. I'm gonna miss Wakefield. I'm gonna miss being on the board. I really enjoyed working with you folks. The team of the employees, and I wish you all well. I think we're leaving you in great hands with Peter, and I think you're doing a great job. And with that, goodbye.
Thank you for your time and service.
For your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, same.
Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for everything.
Please feel free to call me at any time, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sounds
Phil.
great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Where we are.
Thank you.
Phil, it was great working with you.
Hopefully you still have a Wakefield calendar next winter instead of a Reading.
Hey, I still have his email.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
I feel.
Okay, so I think we're now going to, so we've been jumping around a bit. I apologize to folks trying to follow this. We are now at section D, old business, and we're down to project updates, the energy parks.
Okay. So status right now, there's a few things going on the approval front. We completed, the appraisal was completed as well as the alternative analysis. Both have been submitted to the state. They're also both available on our website. In addition to that, we've begun the process of bidding and procuring major equipment. The bids for the generator came in last week. We are in the process of evaluating those, finalizing terms and conditions on those. The biggest concern we have is obviously minimizing any risk we would take financially in terms of deposits versus, God forbid, this gets canceled. So Dave is working closely with Mike and we're trying to find, before we sign any contract, we want to make sure we've minimized our risk in terms of anything. If God forbid, the project should get canceled. The generator went first because it does have the longest lead time. So we really want to get that order rolling starting in the first week of June. So we're moving forward on that. We're still in discussions with the battery vendor, trying to move that ball forward, but that one's a little bit cleaner because as you guys heard at the MWEC conference, there's 11 of us in that game. So that's a little more closer relationship and we should be okay with that. And then the next thing they're working on is the other major equipment and switchgear. So that's on the physical side, that's where we're at. So, and on the regulatory side, we're still working with the state. So we're waiting to get the DOER legislative liaison assigned to help work now that the DOER has the things that they physically need, that we need to start working both sides of that. So we're working on that.
All right. On the legislative, just let us know when, where there's places for us to plug in and talk to delegation.
Most of our stuff has been on the state executive office regulatory side right now, but that it needs to come together soon. But we needed those two pieces done before we could go to the next step.
Do we have have they given us any sort of date? Any timeline?
It's very dysfunctional up there right now. There's a battle going on. I don't know if you read about it today, that there's a big war between the House and Senate CUE committees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Square of that.
That got very, very ugly yesterday. So.
All right.
Any other comments or questions?
There's a hand raised.
Yeah, and there's a hand.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Karen Johnson from Malden. I wanted to ask if has there been a public announcement that you've made this request to the state for the energy park, and that there's a public comment that they can make public comments about it? And when is that? When do we submit our comments to the state?
The home rule petition has been filed with the state. It was announced months ago. It was filed back in January, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Filed back in January. They haven't submitted a calendar for comments yet.
They have not, but, okay. So will it be announced on your website, or suppose people be able to know?
It'll be announced at the state level. We'll probably announce it also on our website when a date is set, but we don't control that calendar. The state does.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Second item is winter supply update.
Yeah, so we as you know, we worked through to levelize the rates so we were able to basically hold the rates constant from the January bills on. We levelized the rates from the February for January usage on, and we'll have to hold those for a little while. We do want to, we'll lower the gas rate next month. Right now in May, we're still billing for April usage, but next month we'll be able to lower the gas rate based on the fact that we'll be into the summer season. And we did get very positive results from the assignment of capacity from National Grid. It was basically at the level that we had hoped it would be. We weren't predicting it would be there, but we kind of hoped it would be there, and it did come in there. So we'll be evaluating that all summer, and come the fall, when we have Mark back in to review, we'll have a better feel for the benefits that we're gonna get for that. You know, our costs were higher this year partially because we were taking more from grid to make sure we got a higher capacity assignment. And that whole effort it was kind of the ratepayers paying for that security, and the reassignment of capacity was to the level we had hoped it would be. So, and so we'll hopefully see the benefits of that next season. So,
Will there be any, I know it was talked about potentially having to carry over some of the winter.
we probably we'll analyze that, but we might have to. a little
Okay,
bit, Yeah,
so because we're moving into the summer season.
right. Yeah, we don't want to charge the
Summer usage, yeah.
Yeah, just the appliance people but there's an assignment of capacity that we pay for throughout, so we'll still have to charge that. So,
I know we discussed a couple of meetings ago, but are we gonna be starting the change of price earlier in the winter season or no?
well, hopefully we'll have once we sit with
The
Mark over the
analysis,
summer
okay.
and we do that analysis, hopefully we'll try to levelize. We try every year to levelize it for the
Yeah.
whole season, but last year, you know, it just got too big those first couple of months that we couldn't.
Yeah,
But this year, hopefully, based on, you know, we were still also in transition, so hopefully this winter we'll have a better feel and we can set it for the whole season. But we're still wrapping up that last month of the winter gas season. Did you have a question, Jared?
No, just thank you. Yeah, I just, we'll just be watching it just to try to avoid too many fluctuations in the winter, and that's all,
Yeah.
next year.
Okay. Any other questions? Not hearing any. So we're on to the 2023 strategic planning discussion.
Did we go through the major projects? Or did we skip them?
Do you have any questions about?
Just I wanted
Usually they're
to-
kind of in there for
yeah,
info, so.
Just do we have an update on the timeline for the 480 North Ave? Project?
Dave, do we have any, I believe, so some of the equipment is actually being stored here already. I think they're targeting, is it the October timeframe, Dave?
Yeah, it's in the fall, definitely. And the plan is to have it complete around the end of the year. But the start of it is in the fall. They've been, as they have received equipment, they're storing it, and they stored some equipment over at the ballast and the for the panels and the brackets are stored over at Salem Street Yard. So as they receive some stuff, they've been storing it. And we've been doing a lot of site walk downs and design work still. So the fall is still a valid timeframe.
Okay. Yeah.
Early fall.
Gotcha. Because I know we as a board still need to kind of figure out how we're gonna do the
Dedication.
well, the dedication and also
The rate, yeah.
the rate
Yeah.
for the community solar. I was blanking on the community solar.
Yeah.
How the mechanics of that is gonna work.
That's probably a good agenda item for, we only have like 2 weeks before, we should probably talk about our next meeting because it's only 2 weeks out, but it's probably a good agenda item for one of the summer ones. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that may take more than one meeting.
Yes. We have some different samples of approaches that Florida's been doing it for a while, so we have an approach that Florida Power and Light's using. And then we have some of the western states have, a different approach. So we have a couple of different models we can look at and see what makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want the system to come online and it be waiting for us to make a decision to roll it out to the community.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That was all I had on the major projects. All right, John.
Okay. No problem. Strategic planning update?
Yeah, so Jen and I talked, and because we're in kind of transition, we felt that it would probably be better to get the new board member on board before we started like planning for set. Plus, we're going into the summer and everybody's running in circles. So I did talk to John Wharton and I talked about having maybe some discussions near the end of August for like format and planning of how we want to do it, especially if we already have somebody else on board. But like targeting the September, October timeframe for a specific date. Probably separate from one of our board meetings, we'll plan a different strategic planning session. But I didn't want you to think we weren't working on it, but Jen and I talked, with Phil leaving and a new person coming on, we didn't think it was gonna throw somebody in to strategic planning discussion. Welcome.
That'd be a rough first meeting.
Throw that person in the deep end.
Yeah, the other thing I had questions about was there was some discussion of what the output would look like, and I think priced into the contract was like a report.
Right,
So
and
my question was, can we get a more public facing or public friendly output, like maybe a presentation format, or I don't know. So we have some things to talk about, I think, in terms of like what comes out of it. Like what the physical product is that
Yep.
comes out of that.
I did mention that, he hasn't gotten back to me, but
Yeah, so we're looking for some samples of what he's delivered before, so we can see what that looks like. So we can review that probably at an upcoming board meeting and talk about what the options might be. So does anyone have any concern? I guess what I wanted to get tonight was, does anybody have any concerns with that approach?
No, it definitely makes sense to postpone till the next board member is in seat and gets their feet under them. And then I hadn't even thought about the output in terms of being public facing. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm fine with postponing as well.
okay. Sounds good. So let me see. Next is the collective bargaining contract amendments.
so we discussed it last month and I think we were able to finalize it. We have we created a memorandum of agreement, which basically just simply states that effective July 1, we will, I'll pass it out. Sorry, Jack, I thought you were gonna be here, so I didn't send it out, but we just did it today, so I'll read it anyway. It is acknowledged that due to the market and economic factors in the region, the following compensation adjustments will be made for all employees effective July 1st, 2023. A market-based adjustment will be made to the hourly rate of the first-class line worker of $1.20 and the lead line worker of $1 per hour. Effective July 1st, 2023, a cost of living adjustment of an additional 1% over contractually agreed upon hourly rates will be applied, and then effective July 1st, 2024, it's an additional 0.5%. Those are all the things that we had discussed at the last meeting. So we did a memorandum. We're not going to open up the contract and edit the whole contract. We're just doing a memorandum of agreement. It's been signed by me, by the Supervisory Association, by Kurt, and I was gonna, if it's okay, if we take a vote and it's okay, then I'll have Jen sign it as well.
Question on item 1 and 2. So for first class line workers and lead line workers, they're getting the dollar amount plus the percentage as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the dollar amount will be done first, and then the same percentage will apply to everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, makes sense.
This last page, this is still live for okay. This will reflects the new rates.
That's it. Yeah, so the first page is the Supervisory Association, and then the second page is the Employees Association.
Any other questions or discussion?
Jack, the last sentence of the agreement just says this agreement stands alone and in no way establishes precedent.
Okay, and that was reviewed by Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Those are the numbers we talked about last time that you were suggesting?
Yes.
That's fine with me, and that I'll make a motion that we approve this memorandum of agreement.
Oh, second. Oh, did you add more to that? Sorry.
No, that's all. Yeah, but
Okay.
go ahead.
Here, Commissioner Betcher, second. Commissioner Christie,
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warshall,
Aye.
and Commissioner Calais, aye. Them approved.
This is the original. Sign now.
I'm gonna add it to my stack and do it afterwards, if you don't mind. Because I need to think to sign. I can't do it all at the same time. Okay, I believe that means we're on to new business. And the first item is discussion of MWEC and meme annual conferences.
Yeah, I had just put it in there if there was any of the items that you guys want. So the meme conference is obviously coming up. I included the agenda. Starts with a kind of fireside chat with myself and Joan Moschino from she represents Hull and Hingham among the other areas on the South Shore. She agreed to be the presenter. We had a nice preliminary conversation with her last week. So it'll be kind of like a CNN fireside chat type of thing. We figure we'd do something different. So we're looking forward to that. And then we have the other presentations that are included, including legislative and technical stuff. So should be a good conference. It's usually a good event.
Anyone I know I can't attend. Anyone from the board attending?
I cannot attend this one.
I didn't hear back.
I'm on the Cape and I could get there, but I got too many things to do the next couple of days. There's just no way I can go.
Bill was usually the one that would attend because
Yeah, there is some, not entirely overlap between the meme agenda and the MWEC one. Can you describe, because I actually am not familiar, like what is the difference? And I guess what kind of things would you feature at like the meme annual meeting versus the MWEC? What do you see as the key differences?
well, sometimes there is overlap, but I think the key to the MWEC is looking at emerging technologies a lot of the time, and they're also looking at, projects that are specific to them. Whereas meme represents all 40. So we try to cross over some boundaries. We try to include a broader scope, I think, of like we have, energy and market stuff, we have governance, so there's we try to get like several different types of presenters. One that we try to include is some kind of legal presentation that would give, recommendations to either boards or managers. In the past, we've had like labor related items. We've had collections related items. So, those are the types of things. I think this time we're talking about roles of boards and general managers, stuff like the 164 stuff. I had sent out a set of presentations that MWEC did on the topic. There were links to like a series of 3 or 4 40-minute kind of video type things. So Steve's going to talk about that because that was only available to kind of the MWEC side. So I think the E&E side has had something similar from Deidre, so he was gonna kind of talk about it across everybody. And then, our gas, guy, Mark Roberts, has actually presented a couple times to the meme group in the past. We have a different presenter this time, just to kind of get a different perspective, but the gas markets, as you know, they affect everything. And so even though this is the Municipal Electric Association of Massachusetts, what's going on the gas side has a huge effect on prices and everything. So Tim works closely with Westfield. And so Tim's going to give a perspective on what's going on the gas side and how it's going to affect the electric side in the coming years. So that's always valuable. So again, from the perspective of meme, we're trying to kind of cut across both groups, whereas the MWEC one tends to be a little more parochial to the stuff that they're doing specifically.
Okay. That is helpful.
And Ron's mad at me because I'm presenting with Zimmer, but
Yeah, and I know you probably can't change this, but having those conferences in the same month
I know.
might diminish attendance at the second one.
Might have to prioritize this one next year.
I think that's what usually happens. We go to the first one and then we're like, oh, we can't take another day off
Yeah,
like
exactly.
so quickly. I know that's hard to control for. Okay, well, any other questions on this?
Well, only one on this. So, Pete, this meme meeting, will there be handouts that we can look at later or?
Yeah, I'll capture any handouts that we have. I think, 2 or 3 of the speakers will, so Joan probably won't have any because it'll be a discussion. Zimmer and I will probably have a handful of slides on the benefits of public. I don't know. Did any of you follow what happened with Merrimack?
A little bit.
Yeah, so that Zimmer and I are gonna talk about that because Zim and I and Mike Highland from NEPA were heavily involved in that. We went to Merrimack meetings, we went to town council meetings in Merrimack. It was a big deal. And so, you know, that was a shot across the bow to public power and it was resoundingly defeated and it was huge. So I don't know, you might
I'm
not.
not familiar.
So what happened was the town selectmen in Merrimack decided very quickly that they were gonna put out to vote in their warrant at their annual town meeting to sell the light department because they needed money. And so they didn't have an idea of how much. They thought they could get gazillions of dollars for it. And they thought it would be a good idea. So and it caught everybody by surprise, including the chairman of the board who was sitting there and chairman of the board of the light commissioners had no idea it was coming. So needless to say, the municipal light department community rallied quickly. So Mike Zimmer, Zimmer Angus, because of E&E serves this kind of the same needs as we use MR. So Zimmer Angus, myself, and Mike Highland all acted quickly. And we were able to get organize the public, for signs and for information sessions and stuff like that. And very quickly, the selectmen realized it was a very bad idea. And they tried, so this all happened over the course of a week and a half. And on town meeting floor, they tried to withdraw the question. But we had recommended strategically that they basically got 88% of the voters to turn out for this town meeting. 88% of the registered voters showed up. And so
Wow.
they voted to not bypass the question, to call the question, and then it lost 972-6. And the following week, the selectman that proposed it was resoundingly defeated. He was thrown out of office. That's how quick it all went down. He was a veteran selectman for like 6 terms and he lost handily. And so that was the story, but Zimmer and I want to focus more on the how we all work together and work together quickly. Like Meme played a role. Jane Parento, who's the new secretary of Meme, did a lot of legwork with the unions at Merrimack, and there was a lot of work that went on. Mike Hyland helped a lot at the national level, sharing information about other attempts like this that have happened in other places around the country. And so it was a great, community, group effort. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm very interested, but can't attend. But if you happen to record any of these, I would be very interested in the recording.
I don't know if we have the capability, but we'll share anything that we gather.
Great.
I'll make sure Jane captures everything and sends out what we have. And then obviously, Tom and Jen were at the MWAC meeting, so it was very, very interesting.
Lots of good information on various stuff. Really interesting discussion on some of the first stuff around transmission and us being able to get into transmission and getting a piece of that and really shielding ourselves as well. So it's very beneficial.
Was it all for 22 type stuff or?
Some of it was, yes.
A lot of it was related to that.
The afternoon on the first day, I had a lot of discussion about small scale nuclear stuff. That's all still in development. There's a couple of projects that are being built in, one was in Utah, I think it was.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Idaho National Laboratory.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a demonstration project of
SRM technology.
air-cooled SMR technology, which still uses water, but a lot less. And then there's discussion about what to do with, I think, both Seabrook and Millstone, but more of an emphasis, is it more of an emphasis on Millstone because that's the first one to
Yes,
retire?
Yeah.
Technically.
yeah. Seabrook's the newest in the region. It went online in 88.
Yeah, so there's question about whether to start phasing in newer technology a lot of the discussion was about putting new nuclear on existing nuclear sites. To replace essentially like as units come to age to essentially.
Repower Pilgrim.
I'll tell you, it's not a bad idea for some of those existing sites that have been retired, they're gonna be,
Bring them up, new technology.
yeah, well, and they're.
They pack a lot more in
Small
to a
footprint.
smaller footprint and the safety mechanisms that they're building around them are much different than the sites that we know today. It was interesting discussions and presentation of some of the stuff.
Long way to go, but it was very interesting.
And then one of the last sections was which I found appealing was around energy efficiency incentives and rebates, but basing it on the actual carbon reduction that the device or the activity that you're doing. So instead of having, a flat rebate for X, it's $1 per carbon reduced savings. So, it's on a sliding scale. And so, we had a presentation around that. Was it 4 or 5 meetings ago?
Yes.
Kind of the framework of that. So they're moving.
That's correct.
Was more information around that. So I'd be interested to think some other MLPs are going to be starting with some of that. So it'll be interesting to see the data that they get in participation.
Yeah, and on the energy park, one of the big discussion points, which was very interesting, was fascination with the simplicity of the design in terms of payment streams. So people really couldn't wrap their head around just how simple and easy it was to understand who was getting what out of that package.
I spent an hour on the phone.
About it.
I spent an hour on the phone with Joe Kowalik, he still doesn't get it. And I actually I'll share with you an email Mike wrote on the whole idea of cost causation and all that stuff. And we're, you know.
Good.
Actually, there's legislation right now that's to further, so, right now. If we had to apply for anything, he strongly feels that we would. The way we're doing this is well within the design of what they want to do going forward, and the new law that they're pushing, or the new regulation, I think, would further support exactly how we're doing this. What he was asking was on the roof of where we're putting the solar on the roof, and we're gonna give them the output that they use for free, and then we're gonna get, rather than build these complicated equations and figure out if, we're gonna pay you 2.81 cents for extra power that you give back to us, and you're gonna pay us for we just kept it simple. We're gonna put the solar on the roof. You're not gonna charge us for the footprint. We're not gonna charge you for the panels, and you're gonna get whatever output is, and we're gonna get whatever is extra. And it was as simple as you can make it, and it freaked them out.
So I just wanted to say, this is one thing I do appreciate about WMGLD is just the simplicity of a lot of the designs, because I think people can understand it, decide if they like it or not, but they can at least understand what people are talking about and assess where the value is. And you kind of lose the ability to have that conversation, period, right? When you make it so complex, you can't even start the conversation with somebody because they cannot even begin to think about whether they get a value out of it in the first place and what that would be. So I really, through this presentation, came to really appreciate the simplicity of this design, but it was fascinating to see people up, just like their minds just exploded, when they heard how simple it was. They couldn't really. And so I think it was enlightening, and it kind of like opened a new door, I think, for a lot of people, because they were just like, oh man, we never thought it could be this simple, really. And in fact, it can be, right? You can make it simple. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it spurred a lot of discussion, lots of good questions. And even the initial premise of why the energy park came to be, and because of the VOC wanting to use natural gas for heating and water generation. And so I got questions around that, and it was, kind of answered in the presentation anyways, but yeah, that whole, what you're giving the solar to the schools to offset was spurred a lot of questions and comments.
So that's what.
As an aside, have you guys heard about the Microsoft power purchase contract for fusion power?
I did read a blurb about that real quick.
Yeah, real quick. And so I'm interested in reading I know it came out in the news just in the last 2 days that by 2028 they're going to be purchasing power from Helion Energy for fusion power, and I have no idea where it's going to come from. I hope there's a good non-performance clause in there, but we'll see what happens. But it's interesting.
Well, I think the Gates part of that, I'm pretty sure the Gates Foundation is a large contributor to Helion.
So yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah, well, the Gates Foundation, but essentially Microsoft. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it'd be just fun to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a like you said, that's an exciting space as well.
Yeah. But that's digression. So.
Okay, well, if there are any other questions about the MWEC conference, you know who to come to, so. But it's always a great conference. I think it's very helpful, and then we know kind of what's coming. We get a preview of what's coming down the road, which is nice. Okay, are we on to the board reorg?
Yep. We were gonna have Phil's resignation as part of that, but he preempted that, so. So typically, well, Elton had passed, but I think Jen said you were gonna pass again.
Yeah, so thing as we spoke,
Sure.
the next one would be Jack, I think, to take the chair role, and Where was the,
The secretary would actually be Phil's seat. So technically, I mean, but it doesn't have to be. So I don't know what we want to do about that. Jack, is there a precedent? You're the longest board member that might have seen something like this.
No, I mean, the only precedent is, we try to keep that same order, but if there's someone who's not in that order, we just can maintain the same order that we had. So if it was going to be Phil next after Jen, and then me, and Phil's not here, then I would be next.
Yeah.
Tradition.
Yeah, so you would be the next chair. Yeah, you'd be the next chair, but Phil should be Phil's seat should be the secretary. So I didn't know what we wanted to do about the secretary.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about secretary. So in that
Correct,
case,
yeah.
yeah, so I think the precedent is what we did last year, where if Elton if he wants to wait at least a year, he remained as secretary. So my thought would be that he would again remain as secretary with me as chair, with the chance that next year that Elton would be the chair.
so that means 3 years in a row, I'll be the secretary.
Yeah, unless you don't want, I mean,
No, which is fine.
it's up to you, if
That's
you
fine.
think you want, I'll defer to you because it's been your,
Yeah, no, that will be fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah, unless Elton, if you thought you weren't going to be the chair next year either, next April, then maybe whoever else would be the chair, and that would end up being, well, no, I guess it's, yeah. We can't think about the.
Right, the
We
next
can't think
spot
about
would
the
be
new
the
first.
vacant one.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
It might be
Okay,
better
so-
for him to stay in it for now, because the next spot in the rotation would be the vacant one, and
Correct.
then it would be Tom.
Yeah,
So next year you would be,
secretary. So if you think you're gonna take chair and would, have the bandwidth to take chair, then we fall back. Wait, how does? What is?
Well,
We
the-
just end
the
up
way
kind
I'm-
of skipping the.
we would end up
Phil's-
skipping Elton's, and no,
Skipping Phil's seat. then
well,
for-
you could still put Phil's replacement as the chair after Jack, and then you would become that person's secretary,
Oh, okay,
and then you're up after that.
Okay.
That's the order.
that if you're not gonna
Yeah.
take chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be,
And
No.
problem for next year, I guess.
No. The good news is, unlike Jen, who had to adopt the chair the first night she arrived, basically.
We could do that again. We could make the new person secretary tonight. No, they don't exist yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably safer to. Yeah, we don't even know who you are, but you're now the secretary. So
Unnamed attendant.
that's why it's probably cleaner to keep Elton.
fine, yeah. Which,
But yeah, and so that in the order, the vacant seat will be the chair,
there next year.
and Tom would become the secretary, and then Tom's up after that.
It's. How long did Phil have left in his term?
It's 2 years.
2 years.
Phil and I are on the same cycle.
Okay,
Or that chair
Yeah.
is now in the same.
coming up next year, right? Okay.
Yeah, Jack just was reelected,
Yep.
and then you guys are next year, and then, yeah, Tom and Phil, or Tom and a new person.
Okay, so remind me what we need to do here. We need to vote on the chair, correct? Yes.
I think it could be one motion for chair and
You'd
secretary.
have to have a motion of who
Yes.
to,
Who will be the two positions? I think we need a motion that incorporates both, correct?
One at a time. or both of
That's
them?
probably the
I mean, I
most.
think we both to make it simple.
Hold on, I can't hear Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the most efficient. One motion for both.
Can someone make the motion for
I'm-
the person
yeah.
who is
Yeah,
not?
I'll make the motion. I will motion, the Jack Walshore be the chair for next year and Elton Prifty, continue in the secretary role for this upcoming year.
I'd second that, or if I'm allowed.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, you can.
Well, you
can second,
accept,
yeah.
you accept, so. Okay, let's take a vote.
Or any discussion?
Oh, I apologize. Is there any discussion?
Nope.
Not hearing any. Commissioner Prifty,
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warshaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly, aye. We are reorganized.
Do we wanna, for ESC? There's someone that wants to take that.
Oh, okay.
That's the liaison to ESC.
ESC.
I've been it for 2 years. You know, if someone else wants to take the reins.
Can
Sure.
I suggest maybe we,
Or, go ahead, Jack.
when we have the new person?
Sure,
That actually sounds good.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm happy to continue it till the new person gets in seat.
Perfect. Okay, deferred.
Defer.
Do we need executive session?
No, it was only if we had a concern about what we just approved and signed off of. Then if we had a concern about it, we would go into executive session to discuss further, but since we were okay with it, we passed it, then we're good. We don't need an executive session.
Okay. The only other matter that came up that seems like we might need to finish discussion on is the vote, the town council meeting to actually vote on.
I can go back to see if you. It's only May 15th or 16th, so yeah, if they're gonna post it next week, we probably could do it on the 26th. Does the 26th work as opposed to the other 2 dates?
26th of August.
June.
Oh, June.
It's coming up. very-
Well, so, all right, so if it gets posted on.
So-
We could always, I could ask Steve to focus on the 26th, and then if it can't, if we don't have enough information or time by then we could.
Would we need a
I
subsequent?
forget if Jack was here when we started this conversation.
I
Jack,
was
did you?
not.
Okay, so there have
So
been
June
three,
26th, what are the other dates? June
July,
20
14,
oh,
Yeah.
it was, I thought it was
wait a minute,
10, July 10th and August 14th.
yeah,
July tenth and August 14th are the potential town council meetings where we could take
Okay.
the vote.
Did we
Okay.
want to? Can I propose potentially, all right, so if we do June 26th. Could we have basically 2 meetings in June, like a short meeting with one agenda item on the 26th before town council?
I was gonna propose, do we need to, or do we wanna just,
Move the
well, yeah, cause
early June one.
we're already at May 5th, May 16th right now. So we would be, in theory, meeting again in 2 weeks. Do we wanna just take that meeting and move it a couple more weeks and try to plan it right before, like,
So that's why, like the 21st.
Wait, I'm sorry, we're meeting in 3 weeks, right, on June 6th?
7th. That's
Seven.
7th.
I'm sorry, yeah, Wednesday, we're back on Wednesday, that's correct.
That's
Yeah.
So that's 3 weeks. So if they post it next week, we might have the applicants, we might know who they are, by June 2nd, and if so, we can vote on them on the 7th. So it
Is
depends.
is there a legal requirement for how long it needs to be like, if the posting has to be for 2 weeks, like, and I don't know, this is,
so the posting's only going up next week, the 22nd, say. And so,
but how long does it have, like?
and our board books go out on June 2nd. For the 7th, so it'll still be in the middle of a 2-week posting period.
Get a long weekend.
Yeah, we have Memorial Day too.
Yeah, so who's working with Steve on this? Is that you, Pete?
Yeah, well, Steve's just been sending me emails based on, so he understood that there was gonna be a vacancy, and he offered up 3 dates for a joint meeting of the 2 boards. He offered June 26th, July 10th, or August 14th. He offered
Okay.
those 3 dates.
All right, so it
What I was
comes
gonna
down to the. Sorry, just one thing. It comes down to the timing that Tom is talking about, but I don't see any reason we couldn't do June 26th because, like Tom was asking, we can very easily schedule a meeting prior to sitting down with them, with the town council. You know, it could be that week of the 19th, have a meeting just for this.
Or what I was gonna propose is that since the next meeting's only, you know, it's actually, from our perspective, it's 2 weeks because we prepare the board works by that Friday. We could move it out to the 14th or the 21st. And then we're much better chance that we'd have all the information by then.
I would,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we can agree to have a meeting that week of the 19th before we meet with town council.
I was proposing not having 2 meetings, just having 1 meeting.
He was proposing
Oh.
to push back the board meeting.
Oh,
So the
oh,
June,
oh, he
the
didn't say
June,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, the June 7th to the 21st, I guess.
Either the 14 or 24, whatever.
I think the closer to the town.
I would
meeting,
say,
probably better.
Yeah,
I would say closer to town, the 21st, because that gives more you know, whatever the window is,
Time, yeah.
the time, you know, people prepare resumes, submit all of that, gives us time to review, you know, the processes. And then
Right,
it's
so
closer to the
Yeah.
town council.
Well,
When is?
And then
Yeah.
we do have
When is the July meeting?
the 19th, so that actually makes.
Makes
I-
sense.
yeah, that's good.
I would say the 21st.
Yeah.
21st.
Jack, we're talking about the July meeting as well, which is on July 19th.
so the proposal on the table, I think, would be to reschedule the June 7th meeting to June 21st. It would give us more time to have resumes in so that this board could evaluate and discuss. And then I'll tell Steve that this board would prefer to do the joint meeting on the 26th because the summer dates are a little more conflicted.
And it gets someone in seat sooner.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, June 26th, they could actually attend the July meeting.
Would be great.
And also potentially, if they wanted to go to the NEPA conference and.
yeah, no, that works for me. So June 21, July 19, we're not meeting in August anyway, so it doesn't matter. So then we go back to September, what, 6 or
Six.
13?
It's the 6th.
And you guys can make that? Is that Labor Day, the 4th? Yes, it is.
Labor
Okay.
Day is the 4th.
It is. School
All right.
starts that Wednesday or Thursday, so
Yeah.
we're all back.
We're all back.
Yeah, we're all back in the running by then.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm in agreement on that.
All right, I'll get back to Steve and recommend the 26th.
Okay. And yeah, that gives actually a fair amount of time until the next meeting. I don't know what was the topic that came up tonight that we were hoping we could discuss soon?
Solar rates for the.
Just the rate or how, you
Rate
know,
option.
so community solar.
I'll make sure we put that on the agenda as like at least discussion, concept.
Kick it off.
Yeah.
Kick it off, yep.
I think that would be good. Yeah, and any examples you can provide will get us thinking.
Joe will be back for the next meeting.
Yeah.
We told him he had tonight off. He's had a streak of meetings he's attended, so. He's like, I don't have to come. No, you're good tonight.
A lot of
We've been kicking
administrative.
it.
But next time.
Okay, so we're not adjourned yet. So if we're done, we should adjourn the meeting.
There's Jack.
Oh,
You chair.
Yeah, but I can't share because I'm not present.
Oh, that's right.
So
Oh.
Elton can do.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the May 16th meeting?
I haven't made a motion in a year. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All right, Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Betcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Walshaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Prifty, aye. Call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Dave. Night, Sylvia.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night.
Night, Jack.
Bye, Jack.
You just hit end on the right.
And then it'll,
Yeah, meeting for all.